What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Christina, tu vecina favorita que maquilla, and in today's video I wanted to talk about this show. It is called The Family Chantel. It just started, and this is a spin-off off of the show 90 Day Fiancé. Now, I admit I am a huge 90 Day Fiancé fan, and for those of you that don't know what it is or that don't watch it, it's basically a show on TLC. It's basically like a reality show or whatever. And it follows like 5 to 6 couples, and it comprises of one American who basically goes overseas to find love. So it kind of follows their journey, from them dating, usually they meet online or something, to the American traveling to the country, spending time with them. Usually they hopefully get engaged, and then it follows the process from bringing them over here on the K1 visa, which is a fiance visa. And once the foreigner arrives here, they have 90 days to get married. So basically follows their journey. And then there's like another show called 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After, which follows them after they've been married. So one of the couples on the show is Pedro and Chantel, who this spinoff show is about. Chantel is an African-American woman from Georgia. Pedro is a Dominican he was born and raised in Dominican Republic. And he's actually not the first Dominican to be on the show. There was another Dominican guy named Luis that was on there. He was like 26 years old or something. He had gotten married to like this older white lady, and they ended up getting divorced. It was a hot mess. But so right now, there's a few couples. There's this one white guy from Las Vegas with this girl from Brazil. Well, they're now divorced too. There's another white girl from Pennsylvania who married this Jamaican guy. There is this white guy from Oklahoma that got married to a Colombian. There's this white girl from Florida that is engaged supposedly to this guy from Morocco. And there is another couple, which is a white woman from Florida who got married to a man from Moldova. So, it's a very interesting show, at least to me it is. I like to follow all the drama. And I think it's just interesting to see, like, the contrasts in culture between the Americans and how, they think and what they expect and what the norms are, for Americans versus, these people, especially when it's like, say for example, the girl from Florida and her husband who's from Moldova. Eastern European men kind of have like this stereotype of being very like, very alpha, very rigid, stuff like that. And he definitely like fits that description, And then the one white guy from Oklahoma, he's from like a small town, more on the shy side. And his wife, is this, Latina from Colombia, very outgoing, she wanted to be a model. So it's just very interesting seeing the different cultures as well as like just the different personalities coming as well. All right, so like I said, The Family Chantel is a spinoff from 90 Day Fiancé, and it's following just Pedro and Chantel. Does my thing keep unfocusing? So, okay, so for those of you that don't watch the show, here's a quick little recap of Pedro and Chantel's relationship up to now.
Baby! From fairy tale romance to a future in question, let's take a look back at Chantel and Pedro's journey so far.
When I first saw him online, I was attracted to him right away. So I decided to visit him in the Dominican Republic. I thought that I was just gonna have a little fun on vacation, but we fell in love. The third trip, he proposed. Pedro is not here on a student visa. He's actually here on a K1 visa. It's a fiancé visa. And we have to get married on Thursday.
I pronounce that they are husband and wife. You may kiss your bride.
Pedro and I have, talked about having a wedding in the Dominican Republic. And I think that you guys should also meet his family.
But a feud was brewing.
Want the chicken feet? This is the chicken feet and the salsadura. That's the salsadura? You don't like it?
I don't care to try a chicken foot.
Oh my God.
I don't trust these people because Pedro's mother felt that we are stupid Americans, stupid enough to sit there and eat a chicken foot.
And though the families made an attempt at harmony, tensions continued to grow. Then, things turned physical.
Hey, what you say? Shut up. What you say? What you talking about? What's up?
After that fight, things went from bad to worse. So Pedro headed to the DR to clear his head. Bye.
Te voy a decir algo. Si yo hubiera estado ahí, lo arrastro a todita. La hermana primero, tu mamá sigue. Tu hermano también. Si yo estoy ahí, lo arrastro a todita.
Chantel's friend Obed thinks her whole marriage was a setup for a green card. And Pedro's sister Nicole isn't helping.
Mira. ¿Tú te mereces esto?
Que tú dejas que tu propia hermana destruya tu matrimonio.
The two of them have an uphill battle ahead.
When I have my green card in 10 years, see no faces you added with me? Hey, they want to be over. I give you time.
Don't make threats at me like that. You're not gonna sit here and talk to me like I'm a dog. You don't ever say that to me, ever again.
So, as y'all can see, they have been through quite the relationship. Their first mess up was lying to Chantel's family and telling them that Pedro was here on a student visa versus just being honest and telling them that he was here on a fiance visa, you know. And I mean, the number one thing I have to say, hands down, is that they both let their families get way too involved in their marriage. Like, I get that they're young, so maybe that's why their parents feel like they can kind of step in a little more. But it's like, yo, I get they're young, and I know as a parent, it's like you don't want to see your kid in like a situation where you feel like they shouldn't be in, or where they're getting mistreated or anything like that. But it's like, you gotta let them be. You know, they are husband and wife. Like, you have to let them figure this out on their own. So it's like, you know, you have Chantel's family, especially her mom, you know, kind of stepping to Pedro and getting involved, and he's like, yo, why are you in my business? But then you have Pedro's family, which I have to say, his family, his mom and his sister are a hot mess too. I do not like his sister. Like, I don't care that they're Dominican. Like, his sister is just so conniving. Like, she just gets on my nerves. She has no respect for his marriage either. And, you know, she stayed trying to bring like her little friend around and kind of shoving her in Pedro's face. And it's like, you know, your brother's a married man. You know, like, you shouldn't be doing that. But anyway, yeah, like I said, they let the family get way too involved. So, the other thing is that from the very beginning, Chantel's family has kind of had like this fear that, you know, he's only using Chantel like for money, or, you know, just basically to get his green card. And that is like a reoccurring theme on this show. The families of the Americans always have that fear that, you know, their fiance or their spouse is only with them, you know, for interest, to basically come to the US, get a green card, and that they're basically using them. Like, you hear this with pretty much every single couple. And then, you know, Chantel has a friend in DR that basically told her, yeah, that Pedro's mom and sister basically set it up for him to meet an American girl so that he could, you know, send money back to them. But I guess they weren't expecting for him to actually fall in love with her. So apparently that's what they believe might be a source of the tension between Chantel and his family. Now, so going back to that clip I just showed you guys. Now, when Pedro's family went over there and his mom gave them chicken feet, I was like, really? Like, y'all are making Dominicans look bad right now. Okay, like, how are you going to have a guest from another country, especially the US, come to your house and you serve them chicken feet? Like, I admit, I don't like that crap. I cannot eat that crap. My mom, on the other hand, she loves chicken feet. My mom loves eating that. But I'm like, come on, man. Like, that's not like a receiving dish, you know, to welcome newcomers, especially like foreigners, you know, that aren't used to eating that type of stuff. So, you know, I couldn't blame, you know, Chantel's mom especially for getting kind of offended, you know, with that. I'm like, yeah, that's not how you receive people. But also, you know, has been revealed throughout the show that Pedro, you know, he sends money back to his mom and his mom and his sister, like, every month religiously. He's always sending them money. And that is like a big source of I guess, cultural clash between them, because Pedro's always telling her, well, in Dominican culture, it's not, or it's kind of expected that, you know, a son helps his mom, you know, that he supports her, not entirely, but, you know, since, like, you know, his mom is single, so it's kind of expected for him as the son to help his mom. And he's always like, that's just how we do it in my country. You have to respect my culture, you blah, 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 you know? So on the one hand, I get that. But at the same time, it's like, when it comes to the point where you are prioritizing supporting your mother over supporting your wife, then it's the issue. Like, once you're married, like, I feel like your wife comes first, you know? So that is where I feel like Pedro kind of messes up. And then, you know, his mom and his sister, they can be kind of rude, especially the sister. Like I said, I don't like the sister. So in this pilot episode, for any of you that watched it, you already know, on Chantel's last trip to DR, it didn't go very well. You know, she found out that Pedro had been, like, you know, dancing around with some girls, and, you know, he took his ring off at one point. You know, they tossed it in the glass. So she wasn't too happy, and the sister was super happy to rub it in her face. So when she got back, you know, she wasn't telling it to her family, but she did. And once she told her family what had happened, and, you know, Pedro basically told her, well, you can find another husband, you know, the parents got all upset, and they decided to storm off and go to their apartment after Chantel told them, do not go to my apartment, because she already knew Pedro was going to be upset. And it just turned into a whole situation between Pedro and the family, and him telling them to get out. And the mom was like, well, I'm not getting out, you know. And it was just a hot mess. And it's like, I can't entirely blame Pedro there, because it's like, you're going to come on my house unannounced. And her mama brought a taser with her, you know. She brought a weapon into his apartment. Like, I get it, you know. I would be upset too. So basically, long story short, Chantel's family went to see their church pastor, and he basically suggested that they do family counseling, including Pedro. So Chantel was like, oh, he's not going to want to do that. He's basically not going to be on board. So she talks to him about it over like a dinner or whatever. They went dancing, and of course he doesn't want to, but he decided to do it because he hasn't told her yet that he is planning on bringing his mother and his sister to the United States. So I'm like, oh my goodness, that is the worst thing you can do. Like, I'm sorry, but I am a firm believer in that young married couples, like within those first years, you should not have your mama living with you. Whether it's, you know, the bride's mom, the groom's mom, whatever, you cannot have your mom living with you. And, you know, this is something my own mother used to always tell me. You cannot have two queens in the same castle. You just can't. And when it comes to mothers and their sons, like, I feel like sometimes mothers have a hard time kind of taking, you know, that step to the side and allowing the wife to be the wife, you know. And it's like they still want to kind of act like they the queen, but it's like, yo, you the wife, she's here now, you know. So I just feel like that would be a terrible idea, especially because the sister, you know, she has no respect for Chantel either, and she would love to see them get divorced. So yeah, Pedro's basically just going along with it for now, because, you know, he has this secret that he hasn't told Chantel yet. So, you know, and of course he wants her to support her in that, which I doubt that's going to happen. I know she's going to be like, heck no, your mama and your sister are not coming to live with me. So yeah, so that was my quick recap / reaction of this pilot episode of The Family Chantel. And by the way, it's called that because whenever Pedro refers to her family, instead of saying Chantel's family, he says The Family Chantel. I guess because he's translating it literally from Spanish, because in Spanish it would be like, you know, La Familia de Chantel. But yeah, so I guess that's why, yeah, he says it that way. And that's why they named the show that. So that is it for this video, guys. If you watched the show, let me know your opinions down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.
I want you to be my father, but it's not gonna be like this.
I don't know what's gonna happen.
I would like to put a tracker on his car.
Okay. Just think that everybody hiding something.
Been so secretive with me lately.
Ellos piensan que nosotros somos los locos, pero esa gente de la familia es un circo.
I am going to do something.
Stay away from my house.
We don't go around fighting, but we can.